Oh my god, the host just triple sapped.
Did you see whose food running?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
orders.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental.
What? Migo? What?
What?
I go? Me go?
That's fine.
Welcome back to Rolling Silverware, everybody. I'm Bunny,
I'm Kat.
and this is our post-shift shit talk.
Yeah, look at us go. Couple of things. I did want to start this podcast off by talking about last week. We talked about having some bad starts to a
Right.
shift. Now I want to talk about a bad end.
Bad finish.
A very bad finish that I had to a shift. I am going home. I park my car. I had to park, so I park on the street, and I had to start walking up on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I hear like rustling happening near the fence that I'm like walking by, and I look down and there's like a little ball of fluff, kind of like scared, right? I scared something, and I looked down and I thought it was a cat, so I was like, oh, kitty. So
Right.
I stop moving, and I wait, and then I clock it, the 2 white stripes, and I immediately I was just like, fuck, a skunk, and I start booking it. I'm running. My full work uniform is on, apron and everything.
Apron and all.
Coins jangling. I'm booking it.
Jangling.
38-year-old middle-aged woman running right down
Booking
this
it.
side street. And
9:30 at night.
yeah.
What are you running from?
And I stopped for a second to see if I can smell anything. Like, did it spray me? I don't know. It didn't, like, my eyes didn't burn. Nothing. It didn't spray me in the face, obviously, because I didn't feel anything. There was nothing on my skin, but I didn't know if I had gotten hit with anything, because it
Sure.
definitely pounced away. It was very cute. I'm not going to lie. It was very much
Baby
like...
skunks are fucking adorable. Oh my god,
So
they're so goddamn
cute.
cute.
But also stanky. And so...
If not friend, why friend shape?
You know what? That's what I keep saying. But it was so ironic, the fact that I had spoken to you 2 days earlier about the fact that I would love to own a pet skunk, because they can de-perfume them. They can take out the glands.
They take out the glands, and then they're like cats, I guess.
Yeah, and I thought, oh man, that would be so cool to own a skunk. And then 2 days later, I run into a skunk, and I stop outside, and I'm like, do I smell anything? But it was one of those days where it was so fucking windy. It was so windy. And I was just like, I can't smell anything. So then I go into my house, and I walk immediately into my bedroom, right next to my bed where my husband's laying down, and I go, babe. And he goes, what are you doing? Why are you standing next to the bed over me?
What's happening?
Yeah, like, why are you hovering over me while I'm laying in bed?
He's
and
expecting a knife.
as he should. And he goes, what's happening? And I was like, do I smell? And he's like, no. Well, yeah, I mean, you smell a little bit like weed. Looking at me like I'm crazy, because why are you telling me that you smoke weed?
Right.
Like, it's legal in our state. Like,
You're
I've
not-
seen you smoke a
You're
joint
not
before.
getting caught right now. Like, do I smell? Mom's here. Like, what?
Yeah, he's like, I mean, yeah, you smell a little bit like weed. And I go, oh, I startled a skunk. And he goes, what? What, did it spray you? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, get the fuck out of the bedroom, go downstairs, put your clothes
Why
in the
was
wash.
that your first instinct to be like, oh, this place that I spend most of my time?
I needed another
Let me-
opinion. And that's where he
Run
was.
straight in here.
I couldn't smell it, and I needed another opinion. But yeah, I got misted a little bit. I smelled it a little bit like weed. And it made me realize, because the amount of times that I've walked into my car, because like I said, I always park on the street. That's
Right.
not like abnormal for me. Every time that I've gone into my car, and it has reeked like someone just took a fresh bong toke in my car. And I was like, God damn, is my kid like hiding weed under
there's
his
skunks
seat in
around.
my car? I've never seen a skunk in California.
That's so funny.
I've only ever seen it in Minnesota. I've never seen one in California. So I did not know that was something. We live in a city, bitch. Like, it's
so what? There's coyotes, there's raccoons, there's skunks, there's
No.
rats, there's everything.
I mean, yeah, vermin. You expect
Yeah,
vermin.
a skunk is a vermin.
No, it's not. They're very
Yes,
cute. They're French shaped.
So are raccoons.
Yeah, those are aggressive.
Some of them.
No, all of them. Don't
Have you
approach a
seen the one
raccoon.
with the cotton candy?
Yeah, I have.
Stop it. He's
So
not
very cute.
aggressive. He's crying inside. His cotton candy is gone. Oh, I can't. I'll get teary-eyed just thinking about that poor little guy. He sticks it in the water, and it's gone. If you haven't seen it, look up raccoon cotton candy. Shut up.
It's very cute.
You poor thing.
Yeah, so I got misted by a skunk the other day.
Jesus.
Thank God at the end of my shift. If it happened before my shift, I'm calling out.
No, you're not seeing me.
I'm
Absolutely
not coming
if I have
in.
to wash my uniform, I'm not coming in 2 hours. I'm just not coming in at all.
Well, to be fair, if I'm walking to my car, that means I have half an hour to be there. I'm not being there.
No,
like,
I'm not. No,
you're not going to see
This
me.
is an emergency. I'm not coming in.
Yeah, fair.
Fuck that shit.
Like, no.
I've never been close enough to a skunk to even think that I might have gotten sprayed. Like, I've never confronted one in a way. Yeah. There has definitely been skunks in my front yard, and I've, like, seen them through the window, or even, like, getting out of my car, I'll see the little skunk or even a big one. And I obviously, the second I get out of my car, I'm like, oh, there's a skunk around. Because whether they spray you or they don't, they stink.
They smell, yeah.
They smell. It's like this radiating smell that comes off of them. So I can get out of my car and be like, there's skunks around. Because the, 80-year-old people that live across the street from my dad's house,
they're not,
and the 45-year-old people that live next door probably aren't toking it up right now.
they're not choking down bong rips, yeah.
Not at 1 a.m. when I get home from a hangout. So it's just, to me, it's like, oh yeah, skunks. Like, that's just always been a thing,
Yeah, no.
Skunks exist.
I've never seen one in California.
That's
so
crazy.
it was very small, so I do think it was a baby.
It's just a little baby
guy. But it was
guy.
very cute. And I was scared at the moment. And then about 30 minutes later, I was like, should I trap it?
No.
Like, I don't know, I could have a skunk.
You cannot.
I think my cats would love that.
You've put them, they've been through enough.
They really have.
They've been through enough. It's just let them be cats for a while. I brought home a beast, and so now my cats are all freaked out. My boyfriend's cat's there. That's a whole thing. I have another child. That's where my life's at. I go home. My son is 7 years old, but I now have a 13-year-old, massively obese, furry child that just cannot control any part of his body.
He's
seemingly
the pinnacle of health. I don't know what you're talking about.
he can't, like, my couch is low to the ground, and he can't even attempt to get on it. He just sits there and cries until you pick him up. And then he cries when you pick him up, and then you set him down, and he's like, oh yeah, this is the shit. This is where I want to be. And he's quiet for a little bit. Anyways, that's not the point. No, you can't have a skunk.
How was your week, though? How was everything else?
Week was fine. Thursday was off for my mom's birthday.
Yes, we went to a drag show.
We went to a drag show Thursday night.
Loved
It was a blast. Yeah, Wednesday was unremarkable. I don't remember really feeling one way or the other about it. Last night was not our busiest Fish Friday, so a little disappointed with that. Never really got...
Considering you asked specifically to be...
Well, I wasn't the hammer last night.
Okay. That's right. You were lounge.
I was just in the lounge. So, and I'm lounge too at that.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. The one of the worst sections, because if you don't have big parties, you're just kind of fucked.
Yeah, and I did get a big party. I got an 8-top who was very nice, and we originally gave them a 10 tops worth of space. Mm-hmm. And so after 3 of them got there, the guy was like, hey, we don't need this other table. You can use it for other guests. We don't want to take up the space. And I was like, it's just you guys.
You're the only ones here. Yeah.
I'm also moving into that other section now, so you can take all of the space. And they're like, but we don't really need it. So I just took the table away, knowing full well that table's not getting sat. But if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. I don't care.
They obviously felt some sort of way about
they wanted a smaller table. Yeah. They wanted to be a little cozier, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. But they were in a good mood, and they were a good time, and no problems there. But tonight, Saturday night, and this hasn't happened ever, I think, to this extent. If you work in the industry and you serve tables, you sometimes get campers. Mm-hmm. So campers are people who stay well beyond what you would expect a table to stay for.
Yeah, so most tables, when they sit down, you're expecting 45 minutes to an hour.
Right, hour and a half tops. Tops. If you're doing every single course at our level of a restaurant.
Yes.
And also some time for some hang back after dessert or whatever. Right. Hour and a half maximum.
A camper's looking at 2 to 4 hours, sometimes even longer. Yeah.
Sometimes even just hitting that hour and a half mark, and you're like, okay, are you leaving? What's happening? And so my section was, it was a campsite. Yeah. I was renting out camping areas, go ahead and bring your RV and park it up. Let's hook you up to the hose. It was wild. Like, so many people just stayed.
Yeah, most of your tables were
So
campers tonight.
one of my tables at 35 stayed for just shy of 3 hours.
That's crazy.
So it was like 2 hours and 50 minutes they were in that booth. That's wild. And then we have those regulars that come in, the ladies who sit and they just bring their own bottle of wine and they get like fucking 2 appetizers to share.
Yeah,
and that's
tops,
fine. They are very nice.
So sweet.
They're very sweet. However, once they get down that bottle of wine, now they want to talk. And I usually don't have time to talk to them after that because now my section is full. Well, tonight it was full of campers, so I did have a bit of time. So I did chat with them for a little bit. But yeah, they stay for 3.5 hours every time they come in. So that was another one of my tables. Another table stayed well after. Like, I dropped that check. They were completely closed out. They even handed me the check back. Like, here, you take this. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll take that. And then they stayed another 45 minutes.
That's crazy.
Just sitting there. Like, I really, Jesus Christ. So for the amount of time that I was at work tonight, I did not have the amount of tables that I should have gotten.
Yeah.
For sure. But I still had a good night. Everyone was in a good mood. Everybody, like, I did hair and makeup.
You looked fucking incredible
to the
today,
nines.
bitch.
Like, I really put some effort into it.
You
Jewelry
showed
and
me
all that.
up
For fucking once, you know? Like, for once, I pull up and, like, I look over at Kat because I can see her waiting in her car. And I look over and I was like, that bitch has a ponytail. Just a ponytail. Not extensions, not any bubble. I did the bubble braids because I thought for sure we're going to match today. And I put a lot of effort into them. So many tables complimented me, too.
Yeah, you look great.
Multiple, like,
as they should.
Middle-aged women were like, yo, your hair looks great. And I was like, thank you so much. How'd you do that? And I was like, it's actually really simple.
It's so easy.
It's really simple. It was pissing me off today, but that's not the point. So yeah, like, I looked good. I felt good. My tables were in a good mood. So it really wasn't the end of the world. It was just that
none of them were leaving.
Nobody was leaving, and nobody was getting up and allowing me to get that next round. So when I was cut, which was late, I didn't get cut until 8.
Yeah, you weren't in the first,
Right, it was a late cut for my section. However, thank God it was, because at least I got like one more table after that. But I've never had that many campers. Like, sometimes as the hammer, you have like one, and then everybody talks about it at the end of the night. Like, yo, 71's been here for 3 hours. But the fact that like 4 of my tables did that today, crazy. Like, so many people went over the like not allotted time, but the time that I would allot them to be there.
Yeah. No one has an allotted time in this restaurant. But
no,
also,
you can absolutely stay as long as you want. But
after
also,
an hour,
please
get the fuck
understand
out.
that my money depends on the amount of tables I get.
Yeah.
Not just you being here.
Well, you did have that one table that compensated you a little bit.
So they filled in the tip, like, and it was an appropriate tip, like over 20%. I think it was like 25% or 30% for their check. And then when they left, because they stayed an extra like 45 minutes, when they left, they had clipped another 20 to the little clipboard.
Yeah.
So, like, thank you so much for that. Because I think they realized, oh shit, we've been here a while.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
No, I had nothing visually today. I didn't do my hair or my makeup or anything kind of crazy.
I mean, you look stunning regardless.
But yeah, I went to a cutesy little protest this morning.
That's right.
And I was very conscious about the area that I was going to. So the protest that I went to is typically like a very red area.
Yeah.
And it's one of those places where you can very frequently find people selling like Trump merch.
Yeah.
And, you know,
on
stuff
the corners,
like that.
yeah,
exactly. So I was very conscious of that. And I knew that there could be a lot of agitators, and I was very just ready to dip the fuck out as quick as possible, but also not be super recognizable by any type of facial recognition or like I even turned all of my my location services off on my phone, and like I very, you know, tried to get as under the radar as possible. And I literally went from that immediately to work.
Right.
Like it ended an hour before I had to get to work. And so I fucked off right to work, and I brought my work clothes with me. I even, you know, I wore my work pants and my work shoes, and then I just had like a cute top on. But it was one of those where once I got to work, I did feel like very understated for a Saturday because usually Saturdays are the days that I go all out.
Balls to the wall.
Yeah, because I'm not working.
Hair and makeup and everything else.
I don't have an alarm set for the morning, which, you know, a lot of the times I don't, but it's just one of those where Saturdays are a busier day. We have more coworkers on, we have more guests, so I just go more all out. So showing up to work in just like a fucking ponytail and like normal Wednesday makeup felt very weird. Like it didn't feel good, I
Sure.
would say. Like I wish I would have done more, but I also really I couldn't in the situation that I was in.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then I get to work and and I feel great. I love a good protest day. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, I know that protests aren't going to do anything. They're not going to change much. Like there's
No, but you showed up and you were there, and I think that that's great. Like you did what you could do. I had plans for my mom's birthday, so I couldn't join you.
I did ask you, yeah,
you
and
did,
you were
yeah.
like, you
were like, do you want to go to this protest with me? And I'm literally, my body was screaming yes. Like that's what it was. That was the whole like pause in me talking to you. Is every part of me was like, yeah, I want to fucking go. I'm going to that.
Like of course.
And then I was like, no.
Fuck, I have plans.
And you go, okay, no, that's fine. Like you were so polite. You were just like, no, of course. And I'm like, no, it's not that I don't want to go. It's that I'm pretty sure I have to do something else.
Yeah.
So
it was, it's just, it was one of those things where, I know it's not going to, change anything. The administration isn't going to change anything that it's doing. It's going to continue doing whatever bullshit it's already doing. But it does, kind of just make me feel like I'm a part of something. And
right. Well, and just to be able to be there and see the turnout and know that like we're not alone.
Exactly.
This is not a singular thought that we have before we have to clock into work. This is it's a wide variety of people who are able to stand there and say, no, fuck this goddamn shit.
Yes.
I don't want to do this either.
That's a lot of what it is. It's very much just realizing that even though we live in a relatively red area, because the amount of times we got like no tax on tips written on our fucking receipts before, November 5th.
Which, by the way, where is that? Why is that not being talked about? I haven't heard a smidge of that
of course
in the last few months. What's up?
But, it is one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm not alone. And I know that I'm not, because I do have my, small community of girls that includes you.
Sure.
And, some of our other friends that, we know kind of feel the same way we do. But it was nice to just kind of be out there and seeing the support in the area that we're in and realizing like, oh, okay, there are more people around here that it's not just me.
Right.
And it is nice to, I love a fucking protest day. I love protesting. I really do. It is one of my favorite things. And
I went out for when the Black Lives Matter was happening.
Yeah.
I went out, and me and my ex, we went and met up with a bunch of people that were going from my work.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all went. It was in the where my old job was.
Okay.
There was an area over there that had like signs up, and it was like, hey, this is what's happening and when. And so, yeah, the two of us, left our kid with my dad, and it was like, hey, we feel like we have to go do this. And so we did. And luckily it didn't turn into anything crazy like some of the other spots did. We found out later after we got home and we were watching the news that a lot of that unfortunately did go pretty sour.
Yeah.
But for us, it was just a very like cool, calm, collected. There was like music happening and this and that, and it just felt like a good gathering of like-minded people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that.
It was, but where I was going with that whole story was realizing about 20 minutes into my shift is I am far too fucking old to be sitting in the sun with my arm raised, holding a heavy sign, screaming and chanting for 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
And then going immediately to work and thinking like, this is great. Because
This is gonna be fine.
It was not fine. I was on the struggle bus, bitch.
Yeah, the first hour or two I kept finding you and I was like, you are okay? Things are okay.
I felt great. I felt energized. I felt happy, but my body was screaming at me the entire night. It was not easy to get through my shift tonight, but only because of just my body, right? Like I was still having a good time with my tables. I was fine. I, made great money tonight. But yeah, my body was really just like, ooh, bitch,
you need to
taking
calm
it
it down
a little far. But speaking of being old and in the restaurant, Something you almost heard the story the other day, and then you walked away, and I'm glad you did, because I did want to bring the story up on the
Perfect.
podcast.
Yes. I wanted to hear this.
This made me so mad. I was Hammer, so I'm the lead server, and I assign the side work. And Auntie M comes on, and she had picked up a shift, and it's this whole thing where she's not really supposed to be picking up shifts, but when the GM decides that it suits
Benefits her.
and benefits her, she will allow Auntie M to pick up a shift. And so she picks up this shift, and it's a lounge shift, which are meant to only be
For the closers.
done by lead servers. And she comes in at 4. Auntie M comes in at 4. And then by 5:30, the manager on duty says, when the next person comes on at 5:30, who is a closer, Lounge 2 comes in as a closer, which I don't know why they've had Lounge 2 this whole week, but they've been having a Lounge 2. And he said, when Lounge 2 gets on, she's going to go into Lounge, and we're going to cut Auntie M. And I said, okay, great. And Auntie M gets cut an hour and a half after she starts. It sucks. Whatever you picked up the shift, you weren't even, you know what I mean? Whatever money you made today, you weren't
going to make any of it.
Yeah, you were going to make zero if you weren't able to pick up the shift. So fuck it. Why are you complaining? But she gets cut. And then she comes to me and she goes, what side work do you want me to do? She's been there an hour and a half. Like, I'm not going to have you do a side work. So I tell her, just do rolls. Just do 2 boxes of silverware, whatever's left from the morning, and then whatever we've had in the last hour and a half, just do that. It's fine. You don't have to worry about it. And she goes, I'm going to be here longer rolling silverware than I was taking tables.
An hour and a half? It's going to take you an hour and a half?
I was like, it's going to take you an hour and a half to do 2 boxes?
That's
I doubt
interesting.
that.
I can do it in 20 minutes, so calm the fuck down.
I was like, I doubt that. I walk away. I see her grab the manager and bring him into the bev station. And now she's complaining to the manager about the side work that I had assigned. The manager looks at her.
It's literally the easiest, fastest side work.
And that's what I'm saying.
When you work a double, this is the side work that you're given. When you're cut immediately, unless you've had 2 tables or less, you know, because I've definitely had people come in, they take 1 table and they're like, hey, I'm cut. Go home. Like, go away, walk away. I don't care. Get out of here. You know, I can figure out the rest of it. But an hour and a half, we've had some tables.
Yeah, you've gotten at least 4 to 6.
Yeah, you've gotten a round of tables in an hour and a half because for the first hour, it's just me and you. Mm-hmm. So what are you talking about?
And honestly, as a lead server, I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's the fairest side work I could have given you because it's no side work. You're literally just rolling silverware. Every other side work, you have to do either the sauces, this, that, the wine glasses,
you really got to get
blah,
your hands dirty. You got to like stay back and wait for stuff.
And silverware. Right. Like you need to do all of it. So all I'm asking you to do is roll some silverware that was left from the morning and whatever we had done in the last hour and a half. And your tables, and then you're out. Like that's the fairest way I could have figured that out. And she is complaining to me, and now she's complaining to the manager. I look at the manager and I say, I'm gonna be on the news. And I was so upset. I was just like, I'm gonna be on the news. And he goes, I told her the side work is the side work. What is assigned is assigned. That's what you do. And I walked away. And I was so fucking mad. And then she goes around complaining all day, the entire time.
The rest of the time. Now you're taking longer because you're going to sit here and complain about every little bit of it.
Half an hour later, she finishes her side work. She comes to me for a signature, and I look at her and go, look at that. It didn't take you as long. And I walk away. When I tell you, I was pissed that she did that to me.
Would you look at that?
Fuck you. Not only are you going to complain to me, okay, fine. You want to complain to me, complain to me. I get it. I complain to everybody all the time. It's my favorite thing to do.
As soon as I clock in, what can I complain about?
Super not judging you for complaining, but the minute you went to a manager to try and get out of doing your roles.
The minimum. Doing the bare minimum for what you had.
Fuck you. Fuck your whole life. Fuck your mom. Fuck your dog. Fuck your soul. Like, are you joking? Get the fuck out of here. I was heated. I was so
sorry
mad.
that you took a shift and are expected to do your job.
Shocking. Yeah.
So sorry.
I
don't know
so
how
mad.
I didn't expect to just like not have you do any work. I should have known.
Yeah, because you've been here almost 2 hours and you've taken multiple tables.
Right.
And we have enough silverware for you to do 2 boxes. So sorry. And then, this story's not even over, bitch. And then I want to say it was either the next day or 2 days later. She comes in and it's a very normal shift. Nobody gets cut super early. It's whatever's happening. And she goes to the other server. She gets cut before like the end of night, right? There's still other people to be cut before,
Right.
like after her. And she goes, oh, well, there isn't a whole lot of silverware left. So we're going to split this. And she looks at maybe a box and a half and she goes, we're splitting this silverware here. And I say, okay, but the lounge server is still on the clock for another hour and a half. And who knows if we're going to get a late night pop. So how about you just do a box and a half and then she can go ahead and figure out what's left and she can do what's left. Don't fucking look at me and say you're going to split what she polished. First of all, Auntie M didn't even fucking polish this shit.
Also, since when do you get to say, oh, actually the side work that you assigned, I'm going to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to tweak it. This is what we're going to do. No, you're not. You're going to do your box and a half that you're supposed to do.
Right.
And then the lounge server can go ahead and figure out
what's left.
She can go ahead and do what's left at 4:00 because right now it's 2:30. So she's still on the clock for a long time.
Yeah.
And more people are going to come in. And it was a day shift. So that transition between 3 and 4, sometimes we get fucking hit.
We pop off.
Right. And so, no, absolutely. I was so mad. I walk immediately to the lounge server and I say, hey, you're not splitting that. She's going to do a box and a half. And then you can figure out at the end when you get cut, what's left, and whatever's left when you get cut, that's what you're doing. And the server's like, I'm so sorry. I'm such a people pleaser. I know that that's what you wanted. And she said we would split this. And I just said, okay. And I was like, no, that's not okay. That's not okay. She's going to do her fucking silver. You are in your 60s. You're well into your 60s. You have been in this industry for so long. Do your fucking side work.
Do your job. That's it.
You are an adult.
You came in, you worked a shift, this time an entire shift.
It was an entire shift, yeah.
An entire shift until you got cut at the time that you would normally get cut.
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour shift. Like,
right.
It wasn't a random shift. She was like the opener or some shit. And so she got cut at 2.
Yeah, no, we're not sharing anything. And that's not how it's never worked that way.
Never.
Whenever people come to me and they're like, well, there's a box left, so I'm just going to do half and the other person's going to... No! You do the box then. You roll the box. If you are looking... You're cut. And you're looking at a box's worth of silverware, you do that.
Yeah.
And whatever's left after that can go to the person who's still here, who still has more side work to do.
Yeah.
Stop it. I can't.
Yeah, that made me so mad.
Sure, for good reason. So, yesterday, I was talking at the end of the night, there's some wine glasses, so the busiest I was yesterday, and I got there at 5:30. So the busiest I was from 5:30 to 6. And then I didn't really get busy again, like having a lot of tables, until 8:00.
Jesus.
And so it was like 8 to 8:45. Me and the hammer, the closer, we popped off. Like each of us got 4 or 5 tables.
Damn.
Like literally the busiest I had been all night was from 8 to 8:45. Just like table after table after table, because there's no other servers left. Mm-hmm. It's just down to her and I, and it made sense because we really slowed out. So it was like, yeah, of course, cut everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to take the tables, but I'm pretty busy. And I guess we had one other server on too, and it was Arrogant server.
Okay.
So he's there and he's taking tables. So it's the very, very, very end of the night. So everything has calmed down. Just the hammer has like one table left that's like just hanging back, right? And so I'm polishing wine glasses and he's filling up the silverware, the marking trays and all of that. And I turn around and I go, hey, how was your night? And he goes, it really wasn't great. I'm like, oh shit. What happened? And he's like, well, when I got here, I was the patio. And so I took all these tables on the patio and I was like, yeah, the patio was popping. Like right when I got here, there was a lot happening.
Yeah, when it's not windy and it's nice weather, people want to sit outside.
Yeah, people want to sit outside, which is great.
Sometimes a patio can be better than a hammer shift.
Sometimes.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Because there's more tables out there. Mm-hmm. So if they all get sat, they're all yours.
And you're the only one out there, right. Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, so I took the tables and that's all well and good. But then they tell me, hey, you're going to start taking tables inside now because people are cut. Mm-hmm. So we're moving you inside. It's getting dark. It's getting cold. So we're going to move you inside. Okay, great. So they move him inside. And then he said he got not double sat, not triple sat, but quadruple sat.
Jesus.
During that late night rush that we got.
Yeah.
So what had happened was he got 2 tables inside in his new section, and then immediately got 2 tables out on the patio.
Jesus.
To which he was told by the host, hey, so those are your tables outside. Those 2 that just sat back to back that we're just telling you about right this moment, those are yours. And he goes, okay, well, why wouldn't one of them go to somebody else?
Yeah.
Like,
If
why
there's no
wouldn't...
assigned server out there anymore, why wouldn't you keep them in rotation?
To which the answer was, well, that was your section.
But that's not anymore.
But it's not anymore. So I'm listening to everything he's saying, and I do agree with him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I agree with you. Why couldn't the hammer have taken one?
Right.
Outside. Or even, like, yeah, I was a little busy, but, like, I could have possibly swung around and taken a table outside. Or, like, I don't know, you guys just figure it out.
Or I don't know, you put somebody on a wait.
Right. You just have
Wild
somebody
complex,
wait a second.
You say, hey, it's going to be a 5-minute wait.
Sure.
And
so
then
that
you wait
can
5
space
minutes.
that out a little
Yeah.
bit. So he's like, yeah, and then of course with a quadruple seat, it's kind of hard to get that all going and keep it, like, because there's so many people that need all of these things all at once.
And to be fair, he's pretty new to serving.
Right.
Like, he's not been in the industry for a long time.
So he's telling me all of this, and I'm like, yeah, dude, that does suck. Like, I'm really sorry. I also got triple sat at one point towards the end of the night because that's when the rush was. And I was like, yeah, I feel you, like that really sucks. Did it end okay? And he's like, well, not really. Like, a couple of people were a little mad, and then there was a problem with the kitchen and this and that. And I was like, oh, shit. Well, I'm sorry that happened. Here's to tomorrow being a better day. And he looks at me. And now keep in mind, he used to be a host. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, so because of the way it all went down with the host telling me, like, well, that was your section, so you should just have to take it. He's all, I'm going to talk to the manager. Like, I need to talk to the manager and be like, that's not okay. And, like, so much of me was like, really? Really? You want to talk to the manager about that? And you want to, like, have an issue with the host? You do? What's that like? Like, I feel for him being the server, right?
Yeah.
But also, you used to do this shit, dog.
Always, yeah.
You used to put people in exactly this situation.
And then just be like, do your job. It's not that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a big part of me was like, oh, you should.
You're such an instigator. I love
Immediately,
it.
I'm like, you should go talk to the manager about that.
I'm the same way. Anyone's
That's
like, I'm going to
fucked.
do this. I'm like, yeah, you should.
You should. That's fucked. You're right. Go tell on those hosts that you used to be.
That you trained some of them.
Yeah, and that you, I don't know. I was just, yes, that sucks. But also, now you know.
Yeah.
Now you are seeing it firsthand. And not only is he seeing it firsthand, he's having the exact same emotions that we all do when those things happen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like this, oh, so you get it.
Now you get it.
Now
yeah.
you get it. That it's not just, oh, ha, 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 you have to greet another table. It's, oh, holy shit, I have to greet another fucking table. Mm-hmm. In this moment when I don't have it,
Yeah.
like I just don't have the space to extend myself to one more goddamn table.
You don't have it because it's not just a greet, right? It's 15 minutes worth of a greet, drinks, bread,
Possibly
maybe
appetizers,
beer, drinks,
right.
appetizers, and then what if they're not ready to order? Now you got to space out and remember them.
Or
and
what
go
if one
back to
table
them for an
really wants
order.
to order, but you're still talking to that other table that is kind of on the fence about it or this or that.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just very much this like kind of it's full circle moment of like, yeah, you should talk to the managers. Go tell them about that. But also like, wake up, dog. Like this is exactly what we all tried to say before. And now you're only feeling it because it's your money now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And it's you being put in this situation. Whereas
as
before,
a host, they get paid.
You really were so easy to just be like, well, it's yours. So says the floor plan. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And fuck off. Because you don't have to worry about it again.
No,
the
as a
next
host,
time you talk to the guests is when they're fucking leaving. And hopefully I've done my job well enough to keep them happy.
And regardless if you have, let's talk about it, right? So host, bussers, runners, they all get tipped out based on sales. So regardless if those people are happy or not, they're getting the same amount in tip. They're not getting tipped based on what we're tipped.
Exactly.
And that I feel like would be the only thing that could change the mind of some of these people and, making sure that, or not people, but some of these, branches of the restaurant, that would be what would change them into wanting to give, when they're at a table or when they're seating a table or when they're running food or when they're doing this, wanting to make sure that they're doing it to the best of their ability so the guests are happy. Because if they're getting tipped based on what those guests give us,
Right.
then they would be like, oh, okay, well, I want to make sure it's a lot. But if they're only getting tipped based on sales, why should they give a shit?
Yeah.
And more people sit down, the more money hosts are making.
Right. So they're like, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sitting all these tables.
If that table
this is great.
Yeah, if that table leaves us zero, they're still getting tipped
still making
based on
money
the
off that.
off of the sales of that table. And yeah, that's one thing that it irks me so much that the host can't just be like, yeah, it'll just be 5 minutes. Like when you've already gone through, when you sat boom, boom, boom. Say there's 3 servers on. You go back to back to back with all 3. Then someone else walks in. Why not just be like, yeah, it'll be a 5-minute wait. Give me 5 minutes to get the drink started and the food in for the table that you just sat me.
Yeah, or God forbid, at least let me talk to the table you just sat me. If I haven't spoken to a table yet and you are sitting me another one, and I know you know,
we have signals on the table that you can tell.
That you can tell. You're like, oh shit, she hasn't gotten to this one yet. Well, a third one might be fine. Like, what are you talking about?
She could take them all at once now.
I mean, it happened today. We were up at the front. We're talking to the manager, and there's 2 tables sitting outside. We don't know how long those tables have been sitting outside. I'm pretty sure one of them had literally moments before we walked up to the manager got sat, because I'm pretty sure I watched them walk out.
I watched them walk out and
But
see
that's
them,
not the point. The point is the host then comes back, stands, fucking fuckface McGee, stands at the host stand and listens to you and I talk to the manager for 5 fucking minutes.
5 whole minutes too. That's not even exaggeration. About
about
the
work
plan. Yeah.
Right. About work, yes, but also not important enough to not interject and be like, hey, by the way, Kat, those 2 tables that you can see right now from where we are, even though you just walked in the door, those 2 tables are going to be for you.
At one point, the manager brought us outside to talk about the tables and how he
we
wants
saw-
to set the tables. And we saw them standing there, and they looked at us, and we're just chatting with the manager, like, yeah, so I think I'm going to push these tables over a little bit
Sure.
so that the door's not hitting it. And we're both like, yeah, that's a really great plan. Let's keep that going. Like, even through the week, there's no point in having a table directly behind the door. We're having this whole conversation with the manager.
And not once did she chime in to be like,
hey, by the way, go greet those tables.
Do you want to greet that table that's been waiting for you?
Right.
Or the amount of times that I've literally walked in that door and I haven't even clocked in yet and somebody's talking to me and going, that table over there is yours. Why aren't you doing that right the fuck now? Why aren't you doing that right now while I'm talking mostly bullshit to my manager? And just, I don't know, fucking just a little bit, girl, look at me and be like, hey, psst. Yeah, so sorry to interrupt you guys. No, she was just perfectly content to have us chat away.
Yeah.
And she said nothing until finally she went, Kat, those 2 tables out there are yours.
Thank you.
To which you had a fantastic response. And I agreed with you wholeheartedly. But you were like, oh yeah, tell me fucking now. After I've been standing here in front of your goddamn face.
Right in front of you, like at the host stand.
She wasn't even facing the door. She was facing us.
Yeah, she's been looking at us.
Eavesdropping the entire fucking time. You could have chimed in. You were technically a part of this conversation with how fucking close you are.
Even if she literally just reached out and like grabbed me real quick, she's like, "Hey," you know what I mean? Just touched my arm, like,
just
hey,
mouth,
way,
mouth 201,
yeah,
or 201 214. That's it. Just mouth that. You don't even have to talk. You could just
point them out. Just
hey,
like, hey,
you, those 2,
yeah,
you over there, great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
You would have bowed out of that conversation and had a moment to go and talk to those tables.
Yeah, of course, because those are my guests. Those are my tables.
Right,
yeah.
and that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go up and talk to a table if I think it already has a designated server, and also I'm in the middle of a conversation. It's like
with my manager about other things that are happening
about
in the restaurant. Yeah.
The minute, whatever. It's
so yesterday I walked in this Friday morning. I'm morning hammer. I walk in at 11:30. Within 2 seconds, I get double sat. And I'm like, okay, there's me and one other server on. The bartender was not okay. She's been sick for a little bit, and she was like panicking. I go to seat her a second table, and she looks at me like, right? Like very like sarcastically, like, what are you doing? So I'm just like, okay. So I keep walking into a different section, and I let them know like, hey, I'm going to take care of you guys. And they're like, okay. So I get double seat. 2 seconds later, I get double sat again. As I'm getting drinks for these tables, these, 4 tables, I get double sat again within 10
What is
minutes,
the first
bitch.
server doing?
Also getting double sat over and over and over again. Like,
Where are all these people coming from?
It was wild. Within 10 minutes, I had 6 tables. I was just
Jesus.
like, Jesus fucking Christ, what's happening? At one point, so I was in the 70s. I had all 6 of the 70s done. I had a table at 55, and then I had 2 tables on the patio.
Oh my God.
I'm drowning.
Yeah.
And now they triple seat the next server that's coming on at 12 o'clock at 11:55.
Of course.
They have no other thing to do. There's nowhere to put these people. And so they seat them before the server even clocked in.
I also feel
She
like
got
in the
triple
morning,
sat.
people can look around the restaurant and see fucking nobody here. Like as far as
Right.
employees, they can look around and see 0 employees on the floor fucking anywhere, and they're willing to wait a couple of minutes. Like,
yes and no.
if I come in at 11:45 and I'm like, yo, can I get a table? And they're like, yeah, just a second. And I see not a soul around, like other than other guests, I could see being like, yeah, okay, I'll take the
You
breath.
can see that, but the people that come into our restaurant walk in at 11:45 and they see 30 tables wide open.
Sure.
And they say, "Can I get a table?" And you go, "Give me a second." Now they're mad. And they're just like, "What are you talking about? It's an empty restaurant." But they don't understand that there's only 2 servers on, and we're
Right.
both taking care of 6 tables in our 2 sections that don't encompass even half of the restaurant.
Right.
But our sections are full, and we are at capacity for us as individuals. And they're just like, "What are you talking about? Why is it going to take me 5 minutes?" And so it's just so funny that just seems to be a very reoccurring thing. Is the hosts are just panicked about the idea of somebody sitting at the front. They're like, absolutely
right, in the
not.
waiting area.
Yeah, I don't want to
In the
look at a
area in which
face.
people wait for a table. And I've said this so many fucking times in my serving career. Like, in the amount of times that I have been triple sat, quadruple sat, or fucking whatever. Here's what it comes down to. Anyone walking into a restaurant would rather wait in the waiting area than at the table.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, sure, they want that table. They want it right the fuck now. Because they're looking at, what are you talking about? I see 10 open tables right now. So you might want that table. But I fucking promise you that if they sit there and 5 minutes goes by,
They're super mad.
they are so much more fucking mad than if they stood or sat at the front in the waiting goddamn area.
Yes.
In the area in which you wait for a table. Because if there's no one to serve you, once you have been sat, that's a problem.
That's more of a
If
problem.
there's no
yeah.
one to serve you before you have sat anywhere, been seated anywhere, then that's like, oh, okay, well, obviously nobody can serve me right now because I don't have a table.
Yeah.
The moment you sit your ass down, the clock is ticking.
Yes.
And yeah, you don't want to be greeted the second your ass touches the seat. But
manager
also-
that keeps greeting people the second they sit down.
But also, you don't want to wait 5 to 10 minutes.
No.
Now that seems absurd. And now you're like, well, where is my server?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, your server is incapacitated.
Yeah, your server has been at capacity and you decided you needed to sit down.
You need
now.
to sit right now. So yeah,
you
that's...
see some sweaty girl walking up to you like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, thank you for waiting.
Thank you for your patience. Can you?
Thanks
can
for
you
hanging tight for me. What can I get you started with?
yeah. And then just running away, full sprint.
Oh my God. I was at a table tonight. It was too comical. So I'm at the table and I was like, hey guys, did we need anything else? Because their food has come down and everybody's looking happy. So I was like, is there anything else I can get? Do you need a refill on that wine? Or are we doing another glass of wine? No, I don't want another glass of wine. Okay, great. And I pause. And there's that pause of like, because there's 5 people at the table.
Anyone
So
else want to chime
does
in?
anyone else need anything? And everybody kind of glances at each other. Everybody's looking around. No. Great. I have shit to do. This was a moment that I was busy. I have other things to do. The moment that my leg leaves their booth area, like the moment that I am no longer even kind of in their area to talk to, this guy goes, well...
I'm fighting you.
Well,
This is my 13th reason. Get the fuck out.
I had to come back several steps. I go, oh, and I back up. What do you need? To which he pauses for longer.
No.
And I look at him, and then I look at his friends like, is this a joke? Like, Was that well not for me? Were you starting a story? Somebody fucking tell me something because I want to walk away now. And he's like, just some more chives. Of course. Absolutely. To which I go and greet my new table because that's what I needed to do. And I rang in his chives after that.
Yeah.
But it was like, the timing of it was so ridiculous. Like, you all looked at each other and had this whole several moment gap where I stood facing your table.
Right
ready
at it. Yeah,
to
right at the head of
acknowledge you.
it.
No, 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 no. Fantastic. Enjoy. And then as I, like, because the booths.
Several steps away.
Right, the booths have like a little cap at the end. So I am now in the next booth's over space where I would greet them and talk to them. Well, fuck off. You didn't know you needed those chives 3 steps
seconds
ago?
Yeah.
You didn't know you needed those when I was looking you in the face? Was that too much pressure for you? I'm so sorry. I'll stand back here and just wait for you to need me. Because that's what this guy wanted. But yeah, I was like, in a minute. And then I went about doing what I was doing.
I had a guest the other day. Oh my God. This was so funny and so unnecessary at the same time. So he tells me it's my first time here. And I go, okay, great. He's with like his wife and son and son's wife, I think, right? Like, this is a family of people, but they're all adults. And he tells me...
He was not at the rally today.
No, he was not. He might have been revving by. But he tells me, so this is my first time. What do you recommend? And so I give him a couple of recommendations. Obviously, the one that we love. The favorites and everything that, you know, everyone loves.
The go-to items.
The go-to items. I give him a list of these. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna try this. And he tells me the favorite one that everyone loves. He goes, I'm gonna try this. This is either gonna mean I'm coming back every weekend or I'm never coming back again.
Great.
I look at him and I say, thank you so much for the pressure. I really needed that right now. His whole family laughs and he laughs, but I'm just like, why would you do this to me?
Why
Like,
have you done this?
What the fuck? And it's a great dish. Like I said, everyone loves it. And so I'm confident in it.
Sure.
But also, don't do that.
Don't do
like,
that to me.
Why would you do that?
I also often end that recommendation for that dish specifically because it is a delicious dish. And most people really like it. But there is a small group of people who find it to be like overly salty or like overly seasoned, right? So to which I say to every person that I recommend it, I love it. I've never had anybody send it back. And then I finish with, but if you don't like it, I will eat it and I will get you something else because I love it so much. Like that's me saying that. But also to let you know, like, hey, if you don't like it, I'll eat it. And then I usually get a laugh, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get you something else because I need to take that pressure off of me. Like whatever I recommend for you, I do really like it. But if you don't, that's fine. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But for the love of God, please don't tell me or I'm never coming back again. Then I guess don't. Like, don't go anywhere then because nobody wants that.
Honestly, he ate the dish and he said, this is incredible. He was like, I loved this. This is so great. His whole family loved all of their dishes. They got a bunch of my recommendations and everything they loved. And they left me 10%. So I was like, yeah, maybe don't come back. The fuck?
I don't want to see you every week.
Yeah, they were like, what's your name? And I was like, I gave him a fake name. Like,
Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm Sarah. We don't have anybody that works at the restaurant
there are
named
no
Sarah.
Sarahs.
Exactly. So it's one of those where I was like, yeah, I'm chrysanthemum. I don't know. Fuck it. Like, don't ever ask for me again, you assholes. Like, how are you going to love everything that I've recommended for you?
Right.
And you had this great experience and then you leave me 10%?
Yeah, so I hit the mark that you wanted. I did that.
Yeah.
And here's some cash or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I hit all of my marks. The kitchen hit all of their marks. Everything about this experience has been fantastic for you, and then you're not going to pay us? No, maybe don't come back. Go somewhere else. Like, you can go to Denny's for that. Honestly,
Please.
Fuck off. Well, you ready to check out?
Yeah, we could check out.
Yeah, let's go have a drink.
Please.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Rolling Silverware Podcast. If you are enjoying the post-shift shit talk, please feel free to rate it. Tune back in next week for our shift shenanigans.